Hi folks, welcome to the RMD Creations workshop. Today I'm going to show you how to put together your archery stand that you had purchased from us. We hope you enjoy the video. I hope it's very helpful for you. We're going to show you a couple of tech tips and a few tricks to make sure things come out right for you. Gluing things together with PVC can be a little tricky. The glue sets up very rapidly, so you want to put it together and put it together right and in position. If you don't, you could possibly mess your project up. So watch closely. That's the reason I put this video together for you folks. Okay, everything you see here in front of you, as far as all the white PVC, the glue, and primer, all should have come in your kit. Please let us know if there was anything missing. We pride ourselves on making sure we package and send you the best product we possibly can. So the first thing we want to do is take our package of PVC primer and glue and open it up. Rip that up, discard that. Then first thing you got here is your purple primer. That'll be the thing you'll concentrate on first. So we can set the glue aside for a moment. What you're going to do is crack this can open. If it's a little tight to get open, a lot of times what I find myself doing is grabbing a pair of channel locks. You get them adjusted just so, and it gives you just enough bite on that can that you can crack it open. Once you've got it open, all the PVC joints you see here have an area that accepts glue and primer that the pipes fit together in. For instance, this piece of 6 3/4 inch long pipe fits inside there like that. We're going to prime all the joints before gluing to make sure our glue has the best chance of holding to the material as strong as possible. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take all the things that have joints in them, such as the 22-degree elbow, the T, the 90-degree elbow, our transition joint that takes us from 1.5 to 2 inch pipe, and our other 90-degree elbow that has a clean out T, we call it. This is going to be the part that holds up our arrows. And the union piece that we have here. So first thing you do is you take the purple primer. It's got its own little swab inside here. You just kind of rub that around inside. It can be a little messy. It can drip a little bit, so I wouldn't suggest doing this on the kitchen counter or the kitchen table. I would do it on a surface that's primarily flat, because that's going to be very helpful while we're assembling this, along with maybe you don't care as much if it gets a few stains on it here and there. So we're going to take all these joints like I'm doing here, and we're going to swab the inside of that on each end. So you can see that this purple primer getting inside the joint. It dries very rapidly. Take the 22-degree piece. The only piece you need to prime on this is just the inside on the big end. Just a little bit like that, and that's primed up. On the transition pieces, which go from 1.5 to 2 inch pipe, you'll do both ends on it. So a little bit in that end, a little bit in that end. As you can see, I'm probably spilling a little bit on my table here. It's easy to clean up for me. This isn't my kitchen counter inside, so we're all good to go there. The last one we're going to do here, as an example, we'll get all 3 of these on this corner tee, or corner edge, corner clean out. They call it multiple different things. So I'm going to pause it there, do the rest of my connections, and I'll be back with you in just a moment. Okay, now we got all the primer joints done. We're ready to start putting our assembly together with the glue. So there's a couple tools that you might find handy for this operation. I've got a rubber hammer that helps seat some of the joints together if they get a little stubborn to go together. It's handy to have. I'll probably have to use it a couple times through this video possibly. There's a couple pieces you need. This is a square, a combination square for putting together. There's one critical joint that we need to put together that needs to be square. It has an impact on the rest of the assembly. If you don't have a combination square, I've got a precision square here that I use also. But for this demonstration, I've got just a piece of 1x4 that I've cut that's got a nice square edge on it here, which will do the exact same job as these more expensive pieces will. So if you got something square, even a picture frame, anything small that you can hang on to while you're gluing this thing together. You'll see it being demonstrated here momentarily. I'll set these aside for now because I'm not going to use those. Okay, the first joint I want to put together is going to be the center joint. This is going to be the joint that's going to have the riser on it that holds your bow and connects it to the base pieces. Pretty simple piece to put together at first. So we're going to open up our glue here. We're going to put glue just in our two side pieces on our T right now. Don't be shy with the glue. A little bit more doesn't hurt it. Now I'm going to take and place this on this piece, shove it down. You can see where it shoves down, there'll be a line in there that you can look down through the pipe and see that it's supposed to go up against. As long as you get it seated down against that line, you're not going to have any issues with anything going together. I've got glue on this other side already, so I'm going to shove it down. So if things seem to be a little stubborn, like that one went in okay, but don't be afraid to give this a nice little tap there just to make sure it's seated well. So right now, that's our base piece we've got. You can, in the drawing that I've sent with the kit, you can see the full assembly and how the pieces go together. Here's where the square block comes in handy. Right now, as you can see, this has a little knot on this side. You want to stay away from that. As you're looking at your piece, this side looks fairly smooth because you're going to set this down flat like this, and you're going to use your square block. I don't know if you can see it very well here. And you're going to hold that so this thing is tilted up square like that. Because if it's tilted off like this, then your bow hangers are going to be hanging off at an angle, and you don't want that. So what I'm going to do is take the other T-joint here. Now we're going to do this part of the T. We're going to glue this onto here, and it's going to be perpendicular, so it's laying horizontal to this being vertical. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue in there. And then I'm going to hold this up square against the pipe, against the T, while I shove this into place. Now everything's sitting there pretty square. So now that, just that fast, that is glued in place. It's set up already, it's locked in. That's the most critical glue joint you'll do on the whole project right now, because it's what's going to make everything look right. You can set the block aside now, you don't need it anymore after that. You can grab your other T-piece. Since the first one you glued on is going to hold everything square, just lay that down flat and shove it in tight. Now you've got your base piece partially constructed. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to put the other 6 3/4 inch. They're actually 6 11/16. It's just easier to say 6 3/4. And I'm going to put some glue on this part here, and a little bit of glue on this part here. And I'm going to stick these in until I fill them bottom out. Just like that. I'm going to flip it 180. I'll point this so that you can see which direction this is pointing at you. Put a little glue on this joint here. A little bit of glue on this joint here. And we'll shove the other two in. And if you want all your lettering, there's lettering on the pipe. If you want it all facing down, you can make sure it's all facing down so nobody sees all the extra writing. To me, it doesn't matter. It's just holding my bow in place while I go to retrieve my arrows so I can shoot another round. So now we've got that put together. The next step is we'll set this aside and we'll glue up the pieces that connect the two pieces we just put together on. So you're going to need your two 15.5-inch long PVC pipes, and you're going to need the clean out T's and the two 90-degree pieces. First thing we're going to do, these are going to be basically the same as each other. We'll put a little glue on this joint here. We'll stick it on one end. Right now it doesn't matter if things are perpendicular or square just yet. So we got that one glued up. And now I'm going to glue this one up. Like I said, this stuff sets very rapidly. There, you can always look inside the hole there and make sure things are seated in there, which that one did. Next piece we're going to glue on is this T. And this T could go just about any direction. It doesn't really matter. It's uniform in all directions. I like to look for this there's a little bump on some of these right here. I like to keep that up. I don't want to put that side down. So here, I'm going to go ahead and put that T together just like this. So we're going to have this one pointing up. So I'll put a little glue in here. While I'm holding this elbow down, I don't know if you can see it here very well. I'll move some stuff out of the way. I'm holding this one down flat while I'm pushing this one in. That way, everything will sit flat once it's assembled. And that slid in, it's pretty snug. And it bottomed out well, so we're good there. But that one did take a little more first to put that together. Now you might get that started straight and then give it a little, you can stand it up on the end here. Give it a little tap, make sure she is seated good. So I've got that one done. Now I got to put the other one together. The other one will be basically the opposite of this one, because they're going to go on each end of the stand. But they are the same. You can assemble them in the same direction because they become opposites once you flip them around. So just wanted to point that out. See here, we'll go ahead and glue this one together. There again, I'm going to hold it down flat here while I get this one started. And then I felt it bottom out when I had put it together there. So there, you got these pieces put together. Now these are going to go on to this piece. So if you want to go ahead and stand that piece up like that, and keep in mind, I'm going to put this around so it's facing, so it's easier to see everything. You want all these holes here that you're putting it, when you put it together, facing away from you or to you. Either way, they all need to be facing in the same direction. If you put it together without facing the same direction, that's not going to quite work as designed. So I'm going to go ahead and glue up this joint here. And you want to glue up both of these at the same time. Here's where your rubber hammer might come in a little handy because things get a little tight here. You might have to, you can get one started a little bit and then get this other one started. Things might not be quite lined up. But if it's a little snug, you just like that one, I had to do a little tapping on it to get it down straight. I'm going to flip this 180. That'll stand up like that. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I'm just kind of test look at things before you start to glue them together, see how things line up for you. Now I've got all three of these holes pointing toward you in this video. That's important. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of the glue in each one of these joints. Line them up on here. Get them started. Push them down. Give them a little tap. Just that simple. Your base is complete. Now we're going to go ahead and put all the rest of the features that go onto your stand. I'm going to take the 1 to 2 inch transition pieces. We'll go ahead and stick those on here. These are some 1.5 inch long pieces you have. We're going to glue into the joint. So you basically just take same thing, glue a little bit in there, put that on there, and get it started and just push it down. That's one piece. We'll set that in front there. And we'll do the second piece. Just like that. Just like that. These go on your corners. This is part of your transition that holds your arrows in place. Put a little glue in that joint, take this, just push it down flush. Doesn't get any easier than that. Same thing over here, push it down flush. Now you have some 2 inch by 12 inch pieces, 2 inch PVC by 12 inches long. These are going to go in your transition pieces. We'll put a little glue in there. Bottom that out just like that. Just that quickly, you got a place to put your arrows. There's nothing worse than trying to find a place to hang out, set all your arrows down while you're shooting a series of 3 or 4 or 6 arrows at a time. Now we got our arrow holders in place. The next thing we need to do is glue our vertical piece in place. This is going to hold our bow. Now you can see how critical this was to get this nice and straight. So we're going to put a little glue in here and shove that down till the bottom's out. See, if that wasn't straight up and down right now, this thing could be leaning this way or that way. And that's one thing you didn't want to have happen because that looks pretty terrible. It won't do the job as it was intended to do. You got your union piece. It's just a straight pipe. It's got a little groove on the inside. This is going to connect the two 20-inch pieces together. That just got away from me. Hold on. Sorry about that. I'm back. Okay. So we're going to put a little glue on here. Just that type of stuff there, folks. Let you know it's just real and it's just man in the shop. There you go. Now we're going to take the other 20-inch piece and stick on top of that. This gets everything tall enough that it won't let your bow touch the ground. If you got a compound bow, you don't want your limbs touching the ground or your cams touching the ground. It doesn't do them any good. So now that's probably out of the camera shot now. All right, now that that's done, I'm going to set this down over to the side here. We're going to work on the top piece. As you can see, we got 3 pieces left of this whole kit. Doesn't get any simpler than that. So what we're going to do on the T is we're going to glue this part of the T and this part of the T right here. There again, just like we did on the first one, we're going to push that pipe in there, push this pipe in there. This is the part that's going to go on top here. I don't know if you can see this very well. It's going to go on top here to hold your bow. Now the nice thing about this being all plastic and PVC is it shouldn't damage your strings, it shouldn't damage any of the camo that you currently have on your bow, or if your bow is not camoed, any other color or finish it might have on it. So now we're going to take the 22 degrees, put a little glue in there. Now here's where I want to make sure that you're holding this down. You want to have this going up like that against your teeth. So you kind of use the table there, make sure you get it on nice and square. I'll hold it up here after I glue the second one in. This is a little aid to help keep your bow from sliding off when you got it hanging on the stand. Its only design is just to keep things from sliding off. So you got this nice flat surface to rest your bow on, and it hangs down nice and straight, close to the center, so it doesn't tip over. The thing's pretty stable. I'm going to pause it here for a second while I clear out some area for you so you can see what I'm going to do next. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're back. I adjusted the camera a little bit so you get this in the view. Last piece we got to glue on, and quite honestly, you can choose to glue it on or not. I choose to because I like everything nice and solid. Is to glue this onto the top. Now this is designed to glue on so that this thing here is pointing. So if you look at it this way, it's going to be tilted like this at an angle. So we're going to put this on here like this. It's going to basically line up across the 2 corners that aren't your arrow holders. That way, when you're hanging your bow on here, that you can take it on and off. It's not going to interfere with your arrows. You can hang 2 bows on it. 2 people can shoot, 1 from each side of the stand. That's the intent behind this design. So what I'm going to do now is just take the same thing we did before. We're going to put some glue in this joint. And I'm going to line it up so it's lined up across these 2 corners that don't have the arrow stand on it. It's just a good eyeball job. You don't have to be perfect. And then just pull it on there and seat it down. Now I'll pick this up so you can see the direction in which this is lined up. So that you got your arrow holders here and your bow hanger is in line opposite of the arrow holders. Like I said before, this is the way it seems to work best for me. If you want to play around with the design yourself, you're more than welcome to. I appreciate you guys watching my video today, and I appreciate it if you're one of the people that happen to purchase one of these archery stands. I personally have about 6 of these set up in the backyard at different ranges. That way I've got one target I shoot at, and I just walk to each one of these as I want to shoot a different range. I've got them set up at predetermined distances. So you guys use it however you will. The nice thing about this, it will fit in the back of your car, most likely. I tried to get it in the trunk of my car. It won't quite fit all fully assembled in the trunk of the car, but the bows and everything else fits in there, and this slides right across in the back seat just fine and dandy. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy lots of shooting. Hope you enjoy our product.